Yakshamash, hallo, guten Morgen. Hello, my goddamn chosen ones. Today I wanna talk about parenting. Parenting. You know, apparently, probably you have parents. Maybe you are a parent. Maybe you want to become parent. And then listen close now. I'm gonna tell you some important or interesting information about this topic. See, your parents and everybody else in this world is born in a certain time and in a certain situation. And this time and situation, individual situation, it caused the person to adapt to the situation and make a certain development of personality. So your parents will wear glasses, which means the point of view they have, the way they see things. They are influenced by the time and the situation they were born in. They had parents themselves, they get a certain treatment, they might, all the whole situation. How much money did they have? Did they live in poverty? Was it many children? Was it just one child? Was it this? All the factors, okay? And then you must consider that back in the days also people were not so woke. In other words, emotions were not that interesting and could not have been so well communicated and reflected about as today, especially for men, but also for women probably, okay? Now, imagine your parent, whoever, both father and mother, they grew up and then went through a period of 20 years where they barely reflected and introspected. They just basically, they survived. They did their thing, what was expected from them, and they did not have the time, and nobody taught them how to reflect and introspect and understand yourself, how to deal with frustration. If you are frustrated, if something doesn't work, and in everybody's life something doesn't work, you get aggressive. This is normal. And yes, all kind of things, sad, frustration, sadness, anger, aggression, and then this aggression, it goes inwards, so you're depressive, sad, self-destructive, or it goes to the outside, and in most cases it goes both ways a little bit, so you hurt others and you hurt yourself in some way, okay? By the way, side note, this means you have to learn to regulate your emotions and go through frustration without external sources of reward. You could say, all right, my child is crying, I'm giving him a video game to play. Okay, my child is crying, I'm giving him sweets. When you're grown up, you will say, okay, I have a frustration, I drink a beer or I smoke one. And then this means you use external sources to regulate your emotions. And the next step, this will lead to addiction. This can lead your child to become addict. And another thing is that addiction and abuse in, like violence and all kinds of manipulative behavior towards others, toxic behavior, addiction and toxic behavior can closely stick together, because if the person doesn't have the substance or he has another way to regulate emotions, it projects the emotions on another person or puts the pain on another person. and, like, all right, now I'm frustrated, let me treat somebody so bad that he's frustrated too, and then I will feel better, kind of that. So what I want to say is, people need to learn to go through frustration by introspecting, by expressing, communicating emotions, and also forgiving themselves and forgiving others. This is not easy, but this is the only way to stay healthy and deal with this. So imagine your parents didn't learn properly how to do this, or anybody that didn't learn that, okay? Then they go through 20 years of life, and they never really introspected. They always say, okay, I was frustrated, the blame is on this, on that, on this, on that, on this, on that, and then it will be their point of view, okay? The point of view, you cannot change it anymore. It is, after 20 years, it's so deeply, pardon, je suis désolé, it is so deeply cemented in the psyche that you cannot easily change this. And then they will have a view. And because the view fits their experience, the experience of them will always reoccur. So they will say, and then this makes them very convinced that this view is right, because the view is right. They have the same experience over again, and then they have a lot of the same experience. And then they say, okay, this is the truth. And then they will want to put this view on you. Even though you're a different person, you're in a different time, and you're in a different situation, and you want to wear different glasses, you want to have a different view because you want to have a different experience, right? We want growth, we want development, we want evolution. Okay, so I just explained to you why sometimes parents have a certain view. You can change their view easily, and they want to implement that view on you. Now, another thing that can happen in parenting is that the child takes control of the parent and the parent degenerates. Because if someone has control over another person, this means degeneration, because you then have to put away certain instincts of yourself, and you are an incomplete personality then. This happens in narcissistic family structures. Of course, the golden child is being idealized and takes control with the age of 7 years. It's already over. It has control over the parents. And the parents degenerate. They just think, in discussions, when they discuss, when they want to make up things, they think they still have authority, but it's not true. The child has control, and it will never let it go. And it can end up very funny. Okay. So these are two ways it can go wrong. So the child has control over the parent, or the parent can change his view and will look down on the child and try to implement the view because the parent thinks it's right on the child. So we have two extremes, okay? One, the child wants to control the parent. The other is the parent wants to control the child. Both is not good. And then there is one more thing I want to put out there. And that is, wait a second, need coffee. Yeah, and the other thing is, there is something called individuation. This is the development of the child to a complete personality. And in order to do that, you need to differentiate yourself from your parents. You need to completely, in some way, disconnect yourself, your identity from their identity, and become a whole, complete own identity. It's like you cut away. It's like when you are born, you need to cut away from your mother, right? And the same thing, you have to do it with your parents, and your parents have to allow you to do this, which means in some point of your growing up, you need to completely be disconnected from your parents And your parents have to allow that and even welcome that and be proud of you to do that. And then you meet again as one complete personality meeting another complete personality. And this is the time where you can be eye to eye on the same level as your parent. And this is what we want to get with our children. And this is very hard to reach. I hope you can do it with your children, because a lot of families don't get that done.